So for quite some time, every time I saw a book on Buddhism, I bought it and read it, and it just made me more confused because it seemed to be saying something different from what was in the last book. Now, you probably know when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you do really stupid things. It's true, isn't it? Girls are not so bad. Guys, and they have ridiculous dreams. They have completely unrealistic goals. Well, that's what I was like. And one of my most ridiculous ideas was, I want to go to Thailand and become a monk. So, why did I do that? Out of adolescent immaturity. I really had no idea what it would be like in a Buddhist monastery. It was a dream I had. Fortunately for me, gradually I got used to it. I saw that there were some things in it which were good, some things in it which were not particularly good, and I found my way, and eventually I had the great good fortune of meeting some highly intelligent people, Kalyana Mitras, spiritual friends, who guided me through the monk's life, very good monks. And so gradually I remained a monk because I could see the value of it. Now, when I was in Australia and reading books about it, it sounded fantastic, but that's not the reality. The reality can be different. And so many young Westerners in those days became monks. After 1 or 2 years, they all left. I survived. And the second question was, if we are changing all of the time, and we do something now, and it will have a karmic result later, if I'm completely different, how is that possible? That's your question, isn't it? Okay. So, when the Buddha said there is no self, anatta, he didn't mean that there is no self. Of course there is a self. What is the self? Well, don't you feel as if you exist? Don't you feel different from her? Don't you feel independent? Don't you have a memory where you can remember yesterday, last month, last year? So let's say you're with your children, and your children asked you about your childhood. So you take out the photograph album and you show them pictures of when you were 6, or when you were a baby, or when you were 8 years old, or something like that. And your kids might look at that picture and say, "Daddy, is that you?" And you say, "Yeah." Are you lying? Of course you're not lying. It is you, but it's not exactly the same. You're much smaller, your facial features are somewhat different, but they can still recognize your face. And when they see a picture of you as a teenager, then you look a little bit more like how you look today, but not exactly the same. So even though there is this change, there is also continuity. And it is through that continuity that Karma operates. Okay? That's what I would say. Is that good enough for you? Huh? I can't see your face. Does that answer your question? Oh.
Yeah, still confusing.
Okay.
Bhante. But I can understand about the difference between no soul and no self.
Yeah. So the English word soul usually means an invisible thing which is the real person. That soul is created by God, it is put in you when you were born, and when you die, your body dies and your soul goes to heaven or to hell. And that soul never changes. So the Buddha denied that. And even in contemporary psychology, they don't believe that. They say that yourself is constructed from the time you're a baby. It's built up by different experiences, and it's changing all of the time. In English we have a phrase, sometimes if somebody is very sick or they have a very traumatic experience, their friends may look at them and they may say, he's not himself anymore. Do you have an expression like that in? Okay. Thank you also for your questions. There are quite a lot of interesting and intelligent questions. I don't claim to know everything, but I did my best to explain the Dhamma as I best understand it. I hope it was helpful for you, and I hope it clarifies things for you. So for quite some time, every time I saw a book on Buddhism, I bought it and read it, and it just made me more confused because it seemed to be saying something different from what was in the last book. Now, you probably know when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, you do really stupid things. It's true, isn't it? Girls are not so bad. Guys, and they have ridiculous dreams. They have completely unrealistic goals. Well, that's what I was like. And one of my most ridiculous ideas was, I want to go to Thailand and become a monk. So, why did I do that?